I'm getting tired of men seeing me, and all they're thinking is of bending me over. Like, what's the fun in that? Why don't you bend over?
Oh, it's the kid getting words. Podcasts don't last, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all well and just ripping into our Tuesdays. What a cracking week it has been, and we are going to rip right into it. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what the fuck this opening clip was all about. My lord.
I'm getting tired of men seeing me, and all they're thinking is of bending me over. Like, what's the fun in that? Why don't you bend over?
Brother, I would hate to tell you, but I don't think anybody's watching that wanting you to bend them over, or vice versa, you know what I mean? I think they're watching that video going, how the fuck did my algorithm get here? Because that is what I think every time one of these turns out it can get worse clips ever pops up. But yeah, that is a, look, hey, I preface this every time I say it. Much love to my LGBTQI plus community, but that's a bit of a rough transition, that one, you know what I mean? Looks like he transitioned on dial-up internet or something, but oh God, that clip is going to get me in some trouble, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? And talking about trouble, last week, I just want to come on here and apologize for the technical difficulties that I suffered after last week's episode. My Lord, I was in a state of panic. I finished recording, jumped on the laptop to start the editing process, and I've gone to open my files, like I've got templates for everything, right, to speed everything up. And went to open my audio file and it goes, your file is corrupted. You cannot use this. And I've gone, oh my God. Okay, let's relax. Let's look into this. I start looking at like Google hacks and things like that. Nothing can get this file back. Every idea just wasn't working. And I'm like, I'm fucked. There's no other option other than that. So I start panicking and I'm like, okay, let's just recreate the file. So I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but you need a lot of storage and like things like that to run a podcast, because you got to have a backup of all your episodes. So if like YouTube goes bankrupt one day or Spotify goes bankrupt, you've just got the files sitting there that you can just upload it to the new system, right? So I've got like hours and hours upon podcast files just sitting in the bank in there. And when I was going through storage issues, I deleted a heap of files that I didn't think I'd need anymore. And dickhead here deleted the intro and outro music for whatever reason. I still, to this day, looking into the camera right now, I don't know why the fuck I would have done that. But anyway, the intro and outro music is like from a 3-minute song that I got made up. And I wasn't entirely stoked with, like, it's a sick song. Like the whole 3 minutes is sick. I love it. I wish I could play that whole intro every episode. But it's not really like an intro song, you know what I mean? Like intro needs to be 20 seconds max. And so we clipped it up, like took all my favorite bits of the song out, clipped that up as the intro, and then just played a little bit at the end as the outro music. And I was fucking around with this, trying to clip it up last week for, I'm not even joking, minimum 2 hours. I want to say probably 3 hours. But then I just got to the point where I was like, I need to put something on there to get the episode out. So I just chopped up this pile of dog shit, in my opinion. If you listen to last week's episode, listen to the intro music on that one and then listen to the previous week's. Night and day difference in my ears. Like I just could not get this particular transition right, much like our opening clip, I might add. Another drive-by. Anyway, so I got it out there. And I was talking to Adrian the next day. I was like, oh, did you see my Instagram story about my technical difficulties I was having? He's like, nah, fucking, I don't watch your shit, you stupid idiot. Why the fuck? I see you enough in my everyday life. Why the fuck would I watch your content? And you can't blame him, you know what I mean? But Captain Adrian just comes to the day again and saves my fucking ass, because he goes, you're a dickhead. I chopped all that shit up for you, remember? Because you couldn't work it out originally. And I've gone, of course I got you to do it. any technical side of the podcast is just shit that Adrian set up for me at the start, and I've just continued using it and basking in all the glory. Okay, so this is a one-off moment that I'm going to say shout out to Adrian and thank you for yet again saving my ass, because he goes, I think I've still got all those files at home somewhere, and within a matter of minutes they were on my phone. Crisis averted. So hopefully this episode has the correct intro and outro music. But that's my little preamble. Let's rip right into the fucking podcast. So what are we... Oh, this is a fun one to touch on. So this went under the radar last week, and there is a reason why, because I fucking hate it every single year. It was my birthday last week, and I've deleted it off my Facebook and all that because I hate birthdays and Christmases. They are the one day of the year where people will talk to you. People that haven't spoken to me all year, for multiple years, they'll message you and go, happy birthday. I hope everything is glorious in your life. I mean, I've never met your kids before, but just for the sake of the good Lord upstairs, I need to pretend that I'm a good friend or family and message you and message you happy birthday, okay? Because if I get upstairs and God goes, hey, you have not been kind to your family, they might not get let in, you know? That's how I see it, and I just fucking hate it. So I love the fact that I can just go skate through my birthday unscathed and just get like minimal messages and things like that. But the story has nothing to do with that. That was just another preamble. That was a preamble to the preamble to the preamble. So before we do rip into the real story, I'm going to crack this delicious can of Celsius. And look, I still don't have a care package from Celsius, so I've had to make a trip up to Woolworths. Cans are on special for $2.80 at Woolworths at the moment, guys. Get the fuck around it. So picked up some of my favourite flavours. I have kiwi strawberry today. One of my favourites, I might add. And I had to get them off the shelf so that they were hot. I've had this bad boy in the freezer for the last 45 minutes. And my God, the can is cold. So I am keen to crack this delicious can of Celsius and see what's in store. Oh, splash me on the face again. Maybe when I request my next case from Celsius, I need to say, hey, can we do something about the cracking situation so I don't cop a Celsius cum shot at the start of every episode? Probably not the best phrase to say when you're trying to get someone on board as a full-time sponsor, you know what I mean? But Celsius cum shot might be a good episode title, but let me take a quick sip. Oh, that is perfect temperature. It's just started to like crystallize into small pieces of ice. It's like a Celsius slushy. My lisp kicked back in then. Celsius slushy. But anyway, birthday came around and Nikita is always like, what do you want for your birthday? I don't want to buy you shit that you're not going to use, blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't really like need anything, you know what I mean? Like anytime anyone asks me that, it's always just shit for comedy or shit for podcasting, because that's really all I do. Like I don't go golfing. I don't go fucking, I don't know. I don't have a car that I'm doing up in the shed or something. So podcast and comedy, that's where it's at. And Nikita asked me at the like most convenient time. I was trimming my face for a show, and my beard trimmer has been on the fritz for like the last year or so. Like all my guides are like the little lock-in things cracked off. So I've literally got to hold my thumb on the guide to hold it on the razor. And if that slips off, bye-bye beard. So Nikita hit me up while I was shaving my face and I go, beard trimmer. So she goes, okay. And she's had that on lock for like the last couple of months. I'd forgotten about it, to be honest. And sure enough, on my birthday, open a present. And I have the most glorious fucking beard trimmer just glowing back at me I've ever seen in my life. So shout out to Jericho, Australia. We actually follow each other on Instagram. Weird coincidence. So if you're listening to this, guys, thank you very much. It is an incredible beard trimmer. Get around them. I believe from the little research I did, so don't fucking quote me, I believe it was started by veterans. So it's a good business to get behind. So this thing, it was like, it's got like a gold casing and it's all like engraved and got the sickest pattern on it. You know what I mean? Like I'm staring at this thing and I don't even want to use it. I almost wanted to put it on the shelf behind me just as like a keepsake. But I was like, oh, you know what? We've got to use this bad boy. So I'm fucking pumped. I'm like, this is going to be the sickest trim I've had in years. And when we get to the end of this story, guys, I just realized I didn't put my laptop on Do Not Disturb. So let's hope for the remainder of this story we don't get a message. Anyway, I go in there before a show. So I'm leaving for this show in, I don't know, 15 minutes max, okay? Trimming my face, jumping in the shower, having a quick rinse, putting my show gear on and getting out there. Show gear sounds so glamorous, but for anyone that's seen the clips, it's just a baggy shirt and black jeans and a pair of Jordans. So don't come to any of my shows expecting some sort of like Katy Perry attire. That's not what you're going to get. Anyway, I trim up my face. I'm getting the sickest shave on. I'm playing with all the guides. This is sick. And I finish my face. I jump in the shower, have a quick rinse, jump out of the shower, look in the mirror, and I am met with what I can only describe as the most crazy razor rash I've ever got in my life. It looks like my face, it looks like I've contracted facial gonorrhea. That's a perfect visual for you guys. Now, I just want to preface this by saying this is not the razor's fault. This is not Nikita's fault. This is no one's fault besides my bitch skin, okay? I have the most sensitive bitch skin you will ever see in history. And I don't know why. Like, I know I look like an alpha male sitting on this couch right now, but I have like Disney princess level sensitive skin, okay? That's where we're at. So I start panicking. I walk out of the bathroom and I'm like, look at my face to my lovely wife, and she's looking at me. And usually what you want in response is like, oh, it's not that bad. No one will even notice it. But instead, Nikita also starts panicking and getting every like skin cream and ointment and shit like that she has scattered around the house. And she just starts applying them to my face. Like at this stage, I think all these creams are just like counteracting each other. And I don't even know what's on my face at this moment. Like at this stage, I've probably got some like anti-aging cream, some eczema cream, I've probably got foot fungus cream on my face. Who knows? And I'm about to go to this comedy gig, and I'm just looking like patient zero in the gonorrhea scandal. Second correlation to gonorrhea. I just had to say that because that was what it was like. But anyway, I just had to suck it up, push on to the gig. And my only plan was to get to the gig and acknowledge it. Like that was the first thing I had to acknowledge on site. Like the gig was at West End. I was brainstorming ideas like, yeah, I know my face looks fucked up. I just got brutally face fucked at the West End glory hole or something. Something like that. Just to acknowledge it. Everyone can like stop staring, going, what is wrong with this guy's face? Luckily, by the time I got to the gig, it had settled a fair amount. I don't know if it was the creams. I don't know if it was blasting the Utes aircon in my face. Who knows? But we got away with it, and I plan on having another trim this afternoon. So stay tuned for that bad boy. But the fun thing about shaving my face, while I was fucking around with all the guides and shit like that, I was just trimming this beard part, and I didn't touch the moustache yet. So the guides on this one are a lot shorter than my last one. So I trimmed my face a lot shorter than I usually would. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like I started panicking a bit. But the only saving grace, I was looking in the mirror at my prominent mustache and I kind of vibed with it. I was like, oh my God, am I a mustache man? And I was confused. I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, could this be my new look? Could I just trim everything else short? Like I'd never go full clean skin face. I've got the fattest chin in history. I've got 12 chins. So I've got to leave a bit of hair there to mask that. You know what I mean? But short, like everywhere and just a big fucking prominent mustache. I was like, I'm feeling that. And I was like, nah, you're not a mustache man. You do not suit that. You know what I mean? And then when Nikita came in about the whole rash situation and she saw the mustache, she's like, oh my God, you should totally keep the mustache. And I was like, hey, is that the green light? Am I going to record next week's podcast with a fucking 90s porn star style mustache just on my face next week? So stay tuned for that one when I enter my new career. But what else is happening? Speaking about comedy, let's just rip straight into this bad boy. Take another little sip, just in case I tear up in this next story. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, that's some good shit. It's been an unexpected huge week in my comedy career. So not only am I working on the solo show, reached out to a heap of venues last week. So a few of them have got back to me and a few of them are keen. So expect some dates to be locked in very shortly. I mean, not within the next week or so, but I reckon we could probably do our first little tour back end of April, early May. So Stoked with the venues that have reached out. Like the venues in each town, like the ones that I wanted are the ones reaching out. So that's cool. But anyway, besides all that, I was at work on Wednesday, having a bit of a shitty day, I might add. I was down in the dumps. Everything was going wrong at work that could go wrong. And I was like, oh, this is fucked. Smoko comes around. I'm sitting there eating my smoko, scrolling on my phone. Phone lights up and it's just, I've got Sit Down Comedy Club's number saved there just because I got this weird thing with my phone at the moment, okay? Because in my sort of everyday life, I go by James, but in comedy and podcasting and all that, I go by Jimmy. So I got this weird thing with my phone. When I answer it, I'm like, fuck, do I say hello James speaking or hello Jimmy speaking? So any comedy clubs or anything like that, I save their number so I can be like, hello Jimmy speaking. So they're not like, who the fuck? Like I had that with one of the rooms for the tour on Friday Arvo. I'm like, hello James speaking. And they're like, is this Jimmy missing? And I'm like, yes, that is my alter ego. But it's just this awkward like period. I don't know how to answer my phone. So that's a little bit of stress that I'm dealing with in my everyday life. But anyway, sit down calls and I'm like, oh, okay, they must be just calling about like the competition, like seeing if I'm ready for it, for the final, things like that. And I'm like, it's pretty early for them to do that. Like they do that the week of the show. And I'm like, that's weird. So I answer it. And it's the owner of Sit Down Comedy Club. And I'm like, okay, last time this happened, I got my hopes up that he was going to offer me a big spot. And then he didn't. He was just confirming a future spot. And I was like, okay. And he starts just general chit-chatting to me. How's comedy going? How's everything else in your day-to-day life? And I'm like, okay, is this the call? Is this the call I've been waiting for? So we're making small talk, and I'm like, okay, this is going well. And then he goes, look, I know you got the state final coming up, so just thinking about giving you some more time at the club to work out your set and just get ready for the final, which this is the first time this has ever been offered to me. Made it to the semis those last 2 years, didn't get a spot at the club when other people were getting the spots. And I was looking at like every week, Sit Down posts on their stories, people that are getting spots. And I'm just like, how are they getting spots and I still don't get a crack? But anyway, this rant is probably just going to get me cancelled from the club, but whatever. Anyway, he goes, you got your final coming up, so I thought I'd offer you more time at the club. And he goes, I go, okay, sweet, that'd be fucking amazing. And he goes, all right, we got Mitzi's on Thursday the 19th, which is the show that like, that's your starting point at Sit Down Comedy, like at the actual comedy club, not their open mics and stuff. And I'm like, fuck yes, like I've been waiting so many years for a crack at Mitzi's. And he goes, but I've got another spot to offer you. And he's like, I'll just let you pick whichever one you want. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I've got a spot on the Saturday showcase show the night before your final. And he's like, entirely up to you, whatever one you want to pick. He's like, obviously Mitzi's is there, but you're getting a shot at a Saturday night at the club. The crowd's going to be bigger. It's going to be stacked full of professional comedians. He's like, the spot's there if you want it. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like I feel like I would be stupid to turn down the Saturday spot. So I go, I'll take the Saturday spot if that's cool. He's like, yeah, I sort of predicted that. He's like, Thursday or Saturday, everyone's going to take the Saturday, but I thought I'd give you first shot. And I was like, thank you so much, sir. You'll never regret this. You'll probably regret it when I bomb on a Saturday, but hey, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So I've booked my first Saturday night at the Sit Down Comedy Club, which is fucking pretty sick. Like, as I've said from the start of this, it's probably the biggest club in Brisbane. So hopefully this is my crack. Hopefully I have a good spot there on Saturday. Then I got the final on Sunday. Hopefully I blow them both out of the water and we start making this a consistent thing. So I get off the phone, I hang up, thinking nothing can get better, right? Take another sip. Nothing can get better. Just locked in a Saturday at the club and I hang up the phone. Literally within 2 minutes, I get a message from the other big comedy club in Brisbane, Good Chat Comedy Club. I've said on here before, it's probably my favourite club in Brisbane. And it's just a nice, cute message that goes, hey, I've been talking to the boys at the club and we think you're ready to start getting some weekend work with us. And I was like, no fucking way. So usually I do their like Wednesdays and Thursdays, Saturday nights if it's a gong show, but that's like That's like their late night show. So this is like on their Friday and Saturday showcase shows, much like I just spoke about with Sit Down, like paid spots with professional comedians, things like that. And I was like, fucking oath, like lock me in. I am so keen for that. So that's cool. And like I said, weekend work, because that's what it is. It's finally some fucking paid spots at a comedy club. And like in Australia, we don't really have the whole American system where you get passed at a comedy club, or you get like, or you become like a paid regular or things like that. Like this is probably as close as we can get. And like I get in other cities and things like that, things are a little bit different. But general vibe of the Australian scene is we don't really have that. So this is like as close as I feel like I could have got as getting passed at the comedy club. Like for them to reach out and go, hey, we think you're ready for paid spots on the weekends. So absolutely fucking chuffed, stoked about all that situation. And for it to come from a week that I was like purely not chasing anything, just chugging along, and it randomly just fucking came out of the blue. So turned my shit day into a pretty sick day. So that's my little goss in the comedy world. Obviously, we'll touch on my week in comedy coming up. But let's get on to some embarrassing stories and shit like that from the week. So I spoke last week about our front yard renos that Nikita wants to start doing. And, well, really, it's all of us. We all kind of want to make the front look a bit better. But we decided that Nikita and Westy, they were brainstorming ideas. They're like, let's do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, it's all backwards. If we do all that first, then we've got to, like, be careful when we do the rest. So I'm like, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly. I'm like, so first of all, we need to start with, like, the landscaping shit. Like, put in all the paths you want, all the garden beds, all that sort of shit. Like, gravel down the side to create, like, a second driveway. So I'm like, okay, I'll book a Kanga for the weekend. And I've driven a couple of Kangas in my time, maybe like twice, maybe 3 times if I'm lucky. So I book it in and go to pick it up on Saturday or whatever. But Friday night he calls me and he's like, mate, I'm so sorry. I know it was available on the website, but I've just been on the road all day, so I haven't been able to update it. But someone literally booked it like half an hour before you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's all good. Like maybe I can get it next weekend or something. And he goes, look, what I can do, I feel terrible for fucking you around. He's like, how about I give you my bobcat for the same price? Now, when he said that, I was like, okay, again, I've driven a bobcat before. But when I say I've driven a bobcat, it was back in the days when my dad used to drive machinery and he used to bring like a bobcat or a mini excavator and shit home. And he just used to let me like spin around in circles on the front yard. So when I say I've driven one, I've never really operated one. So a bit of me was like, oh, I think it's a bit out of my wheelhouse. I go, okay, like I'd never really driven one. He goes, no, piece of piss. If you can drive the Kanga, you can drive the bobcat. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure it's not going to be as bad as I'm like pumping it up in my head. So I go, all right, lock it in. And like in my head, the bobcat just felt so much bigger. Like I felt like I was booking an electric scooter and he made me take a Kenworth, you know? That was the correlation in my head. But I was like, all right, let's do it. So I go pick it up and get it home. Now one of my biggest fears in life, this might come off as another bitch move. I hate driving with a trailer, okay? I am not a trailer expert. I cannot reverse a trailer. I know a lot of you guys are probably clicking off the podcast right now going, that useless piece of shit. Who is this guy that we're listening to? I fucking get it. It's one of the most embarrassing things in my life. Oh, God. But I end up getting it home. I go to take the bobcat off the trailer. All that shit that I learnt when I was like 10 spinning around on the front yard, out the window, I can't even get this fucking thing off the trailer. I'm sitting on the bobcat on the trailer with YouTubing how to drive this bobcat. And I'm like, I can't get this off the trailer. How am I going to go and like fucking earth move my front yard with this thing? So I'm watching it all and I eventually get it off the trailer. And I just feel like my neighbors are just staring at me going, well, I guess this is how this guy's going to die today. Like I did not look like I had any idea what I was doing. But I end up getting it to the front yard and I start digging. And second dig in, I'm like, I don't know how to use this. every motion feels like I'm about to tip this thing. It's just bouncing everywhere, like doing little bunny hops back and forth and shit. And I'm like, I am seconds away from disaster. Like I was having all these Final Destination flashbacks and shit like that in my head. And I was like, God, I am going to die. Like fucking, what would my obituary read? Like local comedian dies by landscaping equipment. That's not how I'm meant to go. I'm supposed to like die by people blasting me with chicken wings on stage or something. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I eventually I take a moment. I go and sit down and I'm like, all right, we just need to breathe this bad boy out. And because I don't want to die by bobcat, you know, that's not cool. That's not a cool death. And not even like the cool bobcat, like the animal. I'm dying by construction equipment. So I take a breath, I go sit down, and I come back, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a couple of minutes of just taking the breath, but I started to nail the bobcat. And I suppose you do over time. Like, shout out to all my like landscaping and earth moving listeners and shit like that. You guys are the real fucking heroes. Like, I don't know how you do that every day, but as I was doing it, I'm like, this would kind of be like me getting a bobcat operator to come into a cabinet making shop and be like, oh, go cut that piece of wood down to fucking 6 mil on the panel saw and them just cutting a finger off. So I felt good about myself when I related it to that. But anyway, we got it done and I was quietly stoked with how I got the yard to look. Like I was doing curves and shit, like for the pathway, it's all curved and I was getting all my levels right and I fucking nailed it if I do say so myself. So shout out to me. But back on the whole trailer thing, it fucking... This is how shit I am at reversing a trailer. In my time when I did own a jet ski, for like the couple of months I had one, I used to have to call my dad and be like, hey, can you meet me at the boat ramp and reverse the jet ski to the water? Because I don't want to look like a fucking complete idiot in front of all these guys that are just nailing at their first shot with the boats and jet skis. So just all these guys at the boat ramp judging the fuck out of me. Like in my head, I just thought Willem Powerfish was going to jump out and just call me gay or something. So that is where my trailer career's got to. Let's bail out of that shit with our next Turns Out It Can Get Worse story. Well, not a story, clip. Drag this along. All right.
I hope you keep in mind that tonight I'm going to be leaving a big present in her. A big old present inside of her. I want you to think about that tonight too, bud. That's for you, okay? At this point, you're the only one getting played, nobody else. I guess you like being a cuke, right? That's you. That's all you.
Okay. First of all, it irritated me that he said kook instead of cuck. But also, nobody needed that fucking visual. Just some dude bragging about them, like another guy's missus cheating on him and calling it a present. Fucking ew. That is disgusting. But imagine posting that and going, yeah, this will go viral for all the right reasons. But anyway, let's take another sip of Celsius and see what's going on. I think this episode is going to go over time. And we've got the Patreon episode to do after this. So let's have a sip of this. Luckily, all the next stories are pretty short. But anyway, have you guys ever had a weird moment where you've seen a billboard or a poster or something and then seen that fucking person in real life? Because this happened to me at basketball on Saturday. There's a poster there, and I'm assuming she's like someone big in the local scene. Like maybe she played women's NBL or something in Australia. But it's a poster of her, and at the top it says, how do you measure up against this lady's name? Sorry for not remembering it. And Parker and I went over. Parker's like, how tall are you? So we went and measured me, then we measured Parker, and we walked away, and the sign was still in view, right? And 10 minutes later, this lady goes and stands beside the poster, and she's putting her little girl's like basketball shoes on, ready for training. And I'm like, I'm tripping out because I'm like, I swear that lady is the lady in the poster. And then I just started to picture myself. I'm like, if I had a billboard or something, would I ever go and stand next to it? Or is that kind of weird? Because my brain was just spazzing out right now. Like I said to Nikita, I'm like, is that the lady in the poster? And luckily she started tripping out as well. Just our two autistic brains just having a sword fight right now going, holy shit, has this poster come to life? Are we in some sort of weird horror movie right now? Are we in Logan's worst horror movie? But Yeah, it fucking tripped me out. So let me know if that would trip you guys out. We took a little family trip yesterday. Posted it on my personal Instagram if you guys follow that. A little reel that I put together. But it was Nikita's birthday the week before my birthday. And same situation with the razor. I was like, what do I get her? And she's always been obsessed with Highland cows. So for those of you that don't know Highland cows, they're basically they're the Instagram cows, okay? They're good for nothing else. They literally don't do anything else other than be cute and fluffy and cuddly and let Instagram influencers go and stand next to them for a couple of photos. So that was us yesterday. But anyway, I bought that for Nikita for her birthday. First of all, shout out to the legends out there. Northview Highlands out past Arachula. So this is all they do. Just like they got other animals there like blackface sheep and goats and llamas and all that sort of shit as well. But their big selling point is Highland cow little tour things. So you go there, you pat them, they give you combs and stuff so you can brush them, get all your photos, and they give you like a tour as you're going. So as you guys know, I fucking hate tours. I just hate tour guides trying to be over the top and just teach you everything about everything. But this guy was an absolute legend. So he owns it all. His name was Mark. So if you go there, try get that dude. And yeah, he's fucking got a couple of events and shit like that coming up. So I think Nikita and I are going back out there for that. But go get around the guy. He literally only started like 12 months ago or something. And the way he's like set up this farm, fucking incredible. One of the sickest properties ever. So soon as we meet him, jump out of the car, he cruises down on his little buggy to take us on the tour. Straight away, he reaches out his hand. Good, firm country handshake. And I've gone, oh. So I match it back. And then he goes, "G'day, mate. My name's Mark," in the thickest country accent you've ever fucking heard. And straight away, City Jimmy disappears. He goes straight back to his country roots. And I've gone, "Hey, mate, James, how you going?" And I'm trying to match the tone in his voice. Nikita's just looking at me going, "What the fuck are you doing right now?" You know what I mean? Oh, God. And like every step of the tour, like we're making small talk in the buggy. The kids are in the back of the buggy. They loved it. And it's Mark driving, Nikita in the middle, and then me to the other side. And he's telling us stuff about the farm and all that. And every like couple of minutes, I wanted to chime in and be like, I actually spent a lot of time on the farm myself. You know what I mean? Back in the days of Gundawindi. You heard of Gundawindi, mate? I mean, I know you're up here in Arachula, but we're down in Gundawindi, mate. That's where the real stuff happens. I restrained myself, luckily, until we got to the end because he took us past this paddock and it had a couple of cows in there that are pregnant. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so bummed out. Like they were supposed to give birth a couple of days ago. They'll be coming any minute. I was hoping we're going to wake up this morning and the calves will be here." And we start talking about like calves and stuff like that. And Nikita asked the question and I go, "Oh, you were just baiting me at this point." She goes, "Oh, have you ever had to like assist with the birth of a calf?" And he's gone, "Nah, not yet. I've never had to pull a calf yet." My brain ticks again and I've gone, oh, God, the stories I could tell from my country days. Buddy, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I've actually been present for at least 3 pulling of calves, okay? So for those city folk that aren't familiar with the term, okay, that's actually where you've got to go in and assist with the birth. The calf gets stuck during birth. You got to like tie a rope around the calf, find a tree or a post or something, and you've literally just got to pull that calf out and use the post or tree as leverage. And I wanted to chime in and be like, "Look, I've been present for like 3 of these, okay? Was I a huge help? Not really. No. Was I the main person doing the pulling of the calf? No. It was generally my granddad or a cousin or something, and I usually just had to hold the disgusting placenta-covered rope while they went and like retied the rope around the calf." But he goes, "Oh, I've watched a few YouTube videos, so I feel like when the time comes, I'm going to be a bit of a professional." So I don't know, Mark, if you're listening to this, if you need any help, brother, jump on the phone and I'll drive down there and I'll give you a bit of assistance. But we didn't get away from the farm completely unscathed. There was an incident between myself and a goat. There was a rather randy goat there. There's no other way to put it. He was riding all the other goats, and Mark was like, "Just so everyone's aware, these are all boy goats in the paddock here." He was insinuating that this goat may have been a gay goat, but he didn't want to say that in front of the kids. But I caught on. I caught what you were putting down. And this goat that is riding everyone just comes over to me and I'm like, please do not let this happen right now. I'm in panic mode. And he becomes super friendly with me and he's grinding up against my legs. And I'm like, please stop this. Please do not let me get raped by a goat in front of my kids. Oh, God. So I'm just standing there. He shifts down to my lower shins, okay? I wish I could hold them up on the camera. This goat absolutely destroyed my shins with its horns. And Mark goes to walk away for a second. I show Nikita my bleeding shins, and I'm like, look what that goat just did. And she's like, oh, wow, that's hectic. I'm bleeding to death in a goat field right now, and my wife could not care less. But the only takeaway I got from it is goats recognize goats, you know? So am I saying I'm the goat of the podcasting world? That's exactly what I'm fucking saying. So shout out to all the goats out there, including myself. Back onto the front yard renos. So the next 3 stories are kids' stories. I've tried to bunch them together for you guys. So we do all the landscaping gear on the Bobcat. Now it comes time to do all the garden beds and all the timber framing and shit that Nikita wants to do out the front. And we start prepping all the timber. And as I've said before, I've sold all my tools. So I'm fucking, what's that person that everyone refers to? MacGyver. I'm MacGyvering all this shit with the little tools that I have left. And the only saw that I've got left to cut shit with is one of those like portable table saws that chippies have on site and shit like that. And these things absolutely terrify me because if you put a piece of timber through this crooked or not level, you're losing a finger or something. So my little helper for the day was Westy. Now, Westy is an absolute legend of a worker, okay? When he does make it to the workforce one day, he's going to be one of the best employees anyone's ever had. This kid goes from sunrise to sunset without stopping. And so I say to Westy, I go, look, you're my little helper today. I need you to concentrate. And he goes, yeah, okay, sweet. And he did the exact opposite of that. I go, look, you got to hold this timber level and you got to move with me as I push it through the saw. So I'm pushing these we got 4.8 meter lengths of timber. And obviously that's going to want to twist like a motherfucker in this thing. And Westy's just getting distracted by butterflies and shit like that. This timber's binding on the saw blade. I genuinely almost lost fingers. I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, we cut the first couple of bits of timber and I go to put them in place and they're short. And I'm like, what the fuck? I go, how are they short? Surely I haven't been off the tools for that long. And I go, Westy, hold the end of that tape again on the end of this timber. He holds it on there. It's reading the right measurement. And I've gone, how is this possible? So I go measure the space again, getting the exact same measurement. And I'm like, okay. Because for those that aren't familiar, there's a smart end and a dumb end of a tape measure. Smart end is where you read the numbers. Dumb end is where you put the little tab on the end of the timber. This is going to be hard to explain on a visual platform, but let's try our best. So Westy's on the dumb end of the tape measure and he puts it on the end of the timber and it's still reading the same thing. So I go down to the dumb end and I go, okay, show me where you're holding that. Now, there's a little tab on the end of the tape measure that you put on the end of your timber, right? Now, my son Westy hasn't done that. He has put both of his fingers on the inside of the tape measure tab and then he's put his fingers on the end of the timber. So all the timber that I'm cutting is like 6 mil short, which must be how thick Westy's fingers are because now fucking all my timber's fucked. But I take full responsibility. That is my fault. I didn't explain properly to him how to hold a tape measure. So, yeah, shout out to Westy for just fucking my timber. That sounds disgusting now that I said that out loud. Scratch that. Speaking about Westy, this kid's become obsessed with like catching lizards and like little critters and shit like that, you know? He'll go and catch them. He'll build them little enclosures out of our Tupperware and stuff. And so he'll like pick grass, find bark and rocks and stuff and build them a little, what are they called? Not an aquarium, like starts with T, like terrarium or something. I don't know. Anyway, he thinks these kids are like, he thinks these lizards are living in paradise, but they're living in like Guantanamo Bay or something. Like this is lizard prison. And I'm doing like bits and pieces in the yard again. And Weston's like, Dad, I trained my lizard. And I'm like, okay, sure you did. This kid thinks he's fucking Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon or something. And I go, okay. And I just kept working. And I just hear him out on the road with his lizard. And he's like, stay, come, stay, come. And he's like, Dad, I've trained them how to like come and stay. And I was like, okay. And he goes, no, I'm serious. Come and watch. And he goes, gets this lizard out of the container, puts it on the road. And he goes, stay. And the lizard keeps crawling. And he goes, I mean, come. And then the lizard stops. He goes, stay. And I'm going, okay, perfect. You're a modern day lizard trainer. You would have really suited medieval times when they were just trying to tame these dragons. But his training method is the exact same way that I trained that dumb Dalmatian out there of come and stay, because she still can't do that because, I don't know, she can't really do much if I'm being honest. But next one, Parker deserves some limelight. He has well and truly got into his arts and crafts at the moment. And I've said for the longest time I've been trying to get him into something. So I hate arts and crafts. I hate the messiness of them, getting paint and glitter and shit everywhere. So that's definitely where Nikita shines best. And like, for example, the other night, Parker got the red paint container and he just lathered his body from head to toe in red paint. And I was like, who am I to stop you? You know what I mean? Like, this is probably worth millions of dollars of someone. I could go and put him in the Brisbane Art Museum and people would just walk past and be like, wow, I really like what he's done with the paint. Just his fucking cock and balls painted in red. Anyway, we're sitting there the other night and he's like, oh, Dad, can you help me do something we did at school the other day? And I'm like, yeah, sure. He goes, all right, we've got to cut up little slithers of paper real thin and then we put them into circles and then we use the stapler to put them together. And I've gone, okay, yeah, I remember that. You make like the paper chains or whatever they're called. And he's like, yeah, that's it. And he goes, all right, you need to go find the stapler. And I go, okay, easy. Went and found the stapler. He goes, all right, we cut the paper. We held the paper together. And he's like, all right, now you need to shoot the staple bullets into it. And I've gone, what did you say? And he goes, the staple bullets out of the stapler. And I've gone, you mean staples? And he goes, no, because you shoot them. They're staple bullets. And I've gone, you know what? That sounds way cooler than just everyday staples. So it makes staplers sound dangerous. So from now on in my world, we need to all refer to them as staple bullets. Actually, there was one more kid's story. That's right. Just trying to read my fucking, what I've written up there, that gibberish. Westy was bored yesterday, Arvo. He's walking around. He's like, Dad, there's nothing to do. And I'm like, dude, you've got everything. You've got a PlayStation. You've got iPad. You've got a bike. You've got a scooter. Your backyard is kitted out with a full playground and a trampoline and a basketball hoop. You've got everything any kid could ever want. You're the most spoiled kid in the world. And he goes, nah, I don't feel like doing any of that. And I was like, okay, go build Lego. And he's like, I've built all my Lego sets. And I was like, look, you don't always need Lego sets. Just go get your bucket of random pieces and build something cool out of that. And he goes, he looked at me, he's like, what, build something without instructions? And that's when it dawned on me, this generation has lost all creativity. I go, yeah, just make something up and build it. I go, that's what I did when I was a kid. I just had this big bucket of Lego and you just make cool shit like buildings and guns and things like that. And he's like, did it look like buildings and guns? And I was like, well, in my head it did. In hindsight, looking back at it, no way did it look like buildings and guns. It just looked like shit. And he goes, so what, you just put blocks on top of blocks and just pretended there was something else? And I go, yeah, exactly. Use your imagination. So, yeah, turns out in hindsight, all my Lego creations look nothing like what I wanted them to. Like in my head, I thought I was making guns that look like they should be used in Call of Duty or something. But as Westy said, all I was doing was just stacking blocks. But let's rip into my week in comedy. I'm going to take a quick sip before I do. So, yet again, back at the Brisbane Comedy Cellar. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday night. Don't remember. But fun little set. And I wanted to like do something different. I was just bored of all my material. And I was like, what can I do? So I was like, you know what? I'll address what happened last week with the heckler that wanted to bash me. So I jump on stage and I kick it off with that. I go, oh, last time I was on this stage, someone wanted to beat the fuck out of me. And someone in the audience goes, oh my God, I was here for that. That was crazy. And so then I riffed with him for a little bit about the whole situation, got everyone else in the room engaged with the story. And then I saw a dude with like a mountain of chicken wings. So I just started talking to that guy. And it was fun to just break away from my set and just riff with the crowd a little bit. And I watched the video back. It felt like I was doing crowd work for so much longer than I was. Like, I felt like I had to ditch a whole heap of my material. But now that I've watched the clip back, I did like a minute of crowd work. So not great. But what I do want to do, I want to start doing that a little bit more. I can't do it this week because I've got 4 big gigs booked. But as of next week, I want to start doing more crowd work and just fucking around a little bit more up there. But yeah, that's all I had in comedy this week. I mean, there's not really much else to say. I've spoken about the Cellar for like the last 4 weeks. So let's play our next Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip to break out of my week in comedy. Drag this bad boy across. All right, what's he got to say?
For all the women watching, I wrote a song about periods. Periods, periods, go away. Don't come back ever again. If you do, you'll regret it. I mean this now, I done said it. Periods, periods, go away. Don't come back ever again. I'm single, by the way.
My God, a guy creating a song about periods to the tune of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's the worst type of guy on earth, you know what I mean? Like, feminists, this is the type of guy you should be going after. Not big blokey blokes like me that can't reverse a trailer and has too sensitive skin to shave his own face. But finishing the video with I'm single, by the way, I think we all gathered that. This guy looks like he showers once a month. And what the fuck is that, like, little front ponytail? I do not know what is going on there. But speaking about music, my God, have I been in a rabbit hole again this week? You guys know how my fucked up brain works. I get in these weird little earworms and shit like that. And a clip popped up this week. A certain Australian, it's a duo, okay? So would you call that a band, or you wouldn't call it an artist because an artist implies singular person. But a certain group featured on Triple J last week, and the clip has just been running rampant all over my feed on TikTok and Instagram. And just hearing the first 3 seconds of this song, I am like, this could be the best Australian song ever fucking made. And I've got it here, and I'm going to play it for you guys. I can only play like the first 3 seconds, otherwise we'll get copyrighted. I don't know, but let me play this, and you guys are just going to get instant fucking dopamine. Are you ready? Oh, what a fucking banger. Shout out to the Veronicas. My God. I don't care if you like rap music, rock music, country music, anything. You hear that first 3 seconds of that song and you know you're in for a good time. That is some millennial adrenaline right there. So shout out to the Veronicas. And that Triple J performance just screams everything like 2009 James, you know. It took me back to peak teenagehood. Teenagehood? I don't fucking know. But before we rip in, let's just hear it again. Oh, God, that is incredible. So, guys, pause the podcast, go and listen to the Veronicas Untouched. I think I'm toying around with this idea. Is that the opening song to the solo show when I tour? Because that is going to get the crowd pumped up. Shout out to the Veronicas yet again. Speaking about 2009, James, weird fucking turn of events this year. I've randomly become an NRL fan again. I know. I've gone the last like 10 years or so without watching anything other than State of Origin. And the last couple of weeks, I don't know what it is, but I am just fucking hooked again. And I've watched, I think over this weekend just gone, I watched about 6 games. Like that is insane for me. Like I'm fully back on board with the NRL. So shout out to the NRL. I'm back to 2009, James. Westy's collecting the trading cards. I'm like collecting them from a distance, you know, watching multiple games a week. And look, the bad thing of all this, and parents listening, don't fucking come at me, but the negative of all this, introduce Weston to gambling. Oh, God. Nothing bonds a father and son more than a multi on an NRL game. So Westy was sitting with me yesterday, Arvo, and it was the, who was it? Manly versus Knights. And Sportsbet shot me a little message before the game, and they go, hey, how about a free bonus bet for your birthday? And I was like, oh, you beauty. So I looked at the game and I was like, you know what? Got a good feeling about the two fullbacks in this game. So throw the $10 bonus bet on Kalen Ponga and Tom Travojevic to score tries. Sure enough, within the first half, they both score tries. And Westy's like, why do you want both number ones to score? That's weird. And I'm like, oh, if they both score, I get $40. And he's like, what do you mean? And I've gone, I go, oh, there's this app where you can put money in and if it wins, they give you more money back, like depending on the odds and shit like that. And he's like, oh, what do you mean? So I start breaking down odds and shit to him. Oh, God. And look, there's nothing wrong with this. I used to go to the races with my granddad and stuff. He used to give me $10 to go put on some random horse. Teaches you about money, okay? I reckon Westy learnt more about money yesterday in the like during a football game than he did his entire schooling career. So that is what life is all about. But don't worry, I gave him the life lesson. I told him the old yarn about me losing $3,000 on a college basketball game. And he's like, that's crazy. Why did you put $3,000 on a college basketball game? He's like, was LeBron or someone playing or Steph Curry? I'm like, no, they were all no names. It was college. And he's gone, okay, that's very silly. And I've gone, yep, that is the risks of gambling. So venture at your own risk. But anyway, we've got one last turns out it can get worse clip before we wrap up the episode and get onto the Patreon. Now, this lady featured 2 weeks ago when I launched the Patreon, and she's got a follow-up clip. And look, let's just play it and then we'll rip into it.
Hello, I take it nobody's going to buy my hotel idea, so I say screw it and leave it alone, and I won't tell nobody anything. That's fine. I'm sorry for being mad. I'm sorry. It's just as upsetting. Nobody wants to buy because nobody's emailing me. And no, I'm not that.
I hear you, love. I hear you, because that is exactly how the Patreon's going. No one wants to buy my business idea either. But my Lord, me and the 4 people that are in Patreon, God, are we having fun, guys. So shout out to you, absolute legends. Posted another stand-up clip in there today from the Cellar that I was just talking about. And we have the Creamy Boys coming up, the extended episode shortly with Premature Premises. So let's put a little teaser in here of what to expect. On the first Premature Premises episode we did 2 weeks ago, I was reading through my old joke notebook and it was torturous. I fucking hated every second of it. But there was one joke in there that I was like, you know what? It has legs. It has legs. So at the Cellar last week, I just ripped it out. I was like, fuck it. This isn't going well anyway, so let's try it. And the results of that are up on the Patreon. And we're going to talk about it more in the Creamy Boys after this. But that pretty much brings us to the end of this week's regular episode. Gigs this week, I've got Good Chat Comedy Club on Wednesday the 18th and Thursday the 19th. I will be there. Then I have Sit Down Comedy Club on Saturday the 21st. And then I've got the state final on Sunday the 22nd. So if anyone is around Brisbane, wants to come and watch me potentially bomb at a state final, come to Sit Down Comedy Club on Sunday the 22nd. Tickets, I think, are on their website. I don't fucking know, but I don't get a cent from it. But anyway, other than that, guys, jump on the Patreon. As I just mentioned before, the Creamy Boys on Patreon, $5 a month. We're having a lot of fun in there, I think. And yeah, hopefully that little community grows a little bit more. Hopefully I'll see a couple more of you guys in there this week. Other than that, guys, send submissions via DM on Instagram or at can'tgetanywOrsePod@gmail.com. I appreciate you all. I hope you all have ripper weeks, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse.